I've left the two hoses here long. I've done that on purpose. So that one is from the fuel filter above the pump. That one goes is the return that goes straight to the tank. It's all hoses. I haven't made copper pipes. I know Kitch did and made a very nice job of it. I didn't because reasons. Mostly trying to save time, to be honest, but I mean that's how Citroen did it. I have run that pipe properly, the hose. I haven't done what I've seen some people do, which is cut the steel pipe off here and then just run the hose along the side of the tank. That's a bit of a bodge. There is actually a cutout in the tank, or a dish in the tank that the hoses run up. Those angles I'm not bothered about. I know they're not collapsing because I had them sat on top of the tank. And they sat there quite happily. I haven't taken them to the tank and done any of that because, again, what's going to occur with that one is that I will install the new front and rear fuel pipe into it, disconnect it at the tank end inside the car, and then pull that up, chop it to length, stick it on at the fuel tank, job done. This one, again, I will insert to the front to rear pipe, and I can pull it through because they're all quite free floating and lovely, so I can pull it. It's there. I can pull that one through again, cut it to length. I'm not worried about the angle. You can't see it now, can you? I'll put the torch down. I'm not worried about that curve because that curve's very gentle. So one overhaul height corrector. I didn't film any of that. I didn't film fitting any of this because I've literally been on occasions here for an hour or less, and I've just been trying to rattle on with it. The front and rear pipes, they need a little bit of a jiggle up around the top of the subframe just to make sure that they're absolutely not touching anything. But, it all went in quite well. The only thing I would say, so the front mount, I know this looks terrible. That's because I absolutely, I didn't have any spray-on seam sealer like they use the rubberized crap. So I literally just ladled a load of seam sealer over the bits that take a lot of impact to give it some depth. I will rub that back a little bit before I blow it with some stone chip. Honest. So anyway, that mount, the bolt that goes through that bush, I leave them undone or loose until the subframe's in the car. This didn't go completely without issue because I was trying to feed it in between the car and the ramp on the other side this way. And I ran out of arm, and then the subframe, this end of it, there was so much of it this side of the ramp, it dropped. And of course it pivoted on the ramp, and it's put a bloody great ding in the other sill. Which is annoying, because it looked really nice. And I did think about pulling it out, and I thought there's a body kit over it, and I'm probably going to I'm going to cause more damage than I'm going to fix, so I'm going to just leave it and hate myself for it. When I strip the car down for proper restoration, I'll do something with it then, but for now, I'm not going to dick about with it. But anyway, so trying to fit these on your own is a bit of a knob. I can't use a transmission jack because that's died, as I discovered when I was trying to fit the fuel tank, which turned out to be quite good fun, because every time I had the transmission jack under the tank and I'd jack it up and I'd go up the step ladder to try and put the bolts from inside the car to hold the fuel tank, and I thought, well, why is the fuel tank buggering off? And it turns out that, like everything else up here, the seal's gone in it, so it no longer works. So the fuel tank was a mull, and I used the tall axle stand under the subframe beam, but of course that means that it tilts backwards, so trying to hold it all up, it made more sense because of that to install this end first, and if you install that end first and try and swing it up, that, because the stud's quite long on the rear bushes, they won't go through the hole in the cross member. So I undid the lower bolt that's inside the subframe. You can't see any of this, can you? But it's in there, and then just tilted the thing both that way whilst I very gently let the ramp down, and then just fed them up through the hole. Did the nuts up, and happy days, it's in. So yeah, what else have I been doing other than losing a will to live? Oh yeah, finally got round to making some outriggers. Now these are very rusty, but that's because it's just plate steel that's been lying around up here, and everything up here goes rusty. These, well, they'll clean up. These are 2mm plate steel because reasons. Now, Citroen, in their infinite wisdom, when they installed these, they had them this way round in the car. So here's the offside wheel arch, and they had them that way round with the lips facing forward. And I don't know about you, but where the car lives and where I tend to drive, it gets covered in mud, and this just, you know, all the mud from the road would get slung off the tyres and would just cake these to the extent where you'd be picking out massive lumps of horrible mud that just sits in it and quietly rots it out. So I'm not doing it that way, I'm doing it that way. So this will actually go on the near side of the car. There's your near side wheel arch. That will go in that way round, so that hopefully slightly less mud. Well, I say hopefully, I've done it on that one and it works fine. It doesn't collect mud. It's not exactly the same design as the original, but I mean, all it really needs to do is locate the quarter wing. Those spats are still not, they're just sat there on the little pegs. I don't want to glue these on until I've got the sill skirts back on, because, you know, although it doesn't matter right now, because I've got to take it apart again anyway, but I'd quite like it to look nice. And I know it will, because I've trial fitted the sill skirts, and I'm not quite ready to actually fit them yet, because I still want to blow some stone chip, but I've still got to stone chip all the arches and finish the boot floor, and I'm not going to bother stone chipping the arches until these are in. There's the dent. I don't know if you can see it, just there. Really unhappy about it, and at least it proves it's relatively strong, because it properly bolted. That was actually a stud on the on that mount where the whole thing just went woof and went smack into the car. I'm kind of it is what it is, isn't it? You know, I'm pretty sure I could pull out that and get something in there to try and push that out. Then I'm going to cause more damage to all the paint and dinitrol that I've put inside the sill. So you can't see it. I'm going to just leave it for now. So the next thing I need to do is, can you even see it? I've got to repair along here and make that corner. That corner is quite a complicated, well, it's not a complicated shape, it's just fitting to try and make. I think I've still got it somewhere, but this is where it had been previously bodged. I don't know if this was where it got twatted in the accident or what, but it's a bit of a mess. So there's the original piece of boot floor. So it's actually sort of that way round. So it has a lip that goes down, and then it comes along, and then it drops down and comes out again. But further up, it runs along and then comes up, and then the return lip on the rear valance goes upwards. No, it doesn't. I lie. It goes downwards. That's what it does. It does the opposite. So that lip goes down, that lip goes up, and then this comes along, and so it's not going to look pretty, but it will be strong and solid and not holy. Because I'm, again, like the outriggers and everything else I've fabricated for this mostly, it's 2mm plate, and it's quite hard to shape neatly anyway. But I make everything out of 2mm plate, unless it's for a bus, in which case I make it bigger. But, you know, this sort of, I don't know what this is, 0.9, it's probably 0.9. It's just shite. So, you know, and it's much nicer to weld thicker steel, in my humble opinion. So yeah, I fit the subframe, do them up, and then do that pinch bolt up, so that you're not stressing the bush. Because if you do that up and it's not at the right angle, once you pull it all up, it's stressing the bush, and generally that tends to be bad. So I always do them up. It's only an 18mm bolt and an 18mm nut. You can get a spanner up the side, clamp them up when it's in, and then you're not stressing the bush, which is nice. So I'm going to quit waffling at this point. It's going to be well, I say a short one. All I've done is waffle, but I think I recorded sort of bending most of them. The panel folder's great, but once you've put, there's a little lip on the end so that you can do sort of 3 sides of it, but you can't do the last bit because obviously it gets in the way. So I just used the panel folder to put a slight fold in that, and then stuck it in the vise and hit it with a hammer. So it's not a perfect line yet, but that's okay. I can dress them because I've still got to weld the corners together. And then bang some holes in this one, or these, that side, to spot weld this to the car. And then obviously on the outer edge, I'll drill through the wing. That's quite a small area to weld to, and you could argue that, it should be bigger, which is probably true. This is bigger than it needs to be. But again, this is 2mm plate steel. It is proper solid, and all it's doing is stopping the quarter wing flapping about. So I'm not too fussed. Obviously the offside one, which will also be this one, I'm going to weld a tab to as well. The strap for the extra fuel tank that goes from the rear valance under the tank up used to go through a slot in here, and it just sort of like went over it into the slot, and that's all it did. Quite a lot of cars I see, certainly BXs with the extra tank, don't have that strap at all. They're devoid of strap. I like the strap, but this end I'm going to actually just weld the tab to, again with a captive nut on, and I'm going to, I can nut it both ends, and captive nut will be inside here, so it shouldn't get too covered in crap, and it'll be a stainless bolt, so should I need to take it off again, it should do that. So although I've made progress, I really haven't recorded any of it, apologies, but like I said, time's been such a, and it's been so dark up here that, I mean, you just can't see anything anyway. I don't even know where I got to in the last vid, to be honest, but anyway, all the both side pods and both the little bits of trim are now on the car, and I'm hoping next time I'm up, if I actually pull my finger out, stop waffling and get on and make that corner piece for the boot floor, then next time I'm up, hopefully I can mask all this up, get the outriggers welded in, get the boot floor finished, and then blow all of this with stone chip. The stone chip stuff I've got is over paintable, which is nice, so I've actually stone chipped the underside of the car, and then I also put another coat of Jotun on it because it's hard as hell. It might be overkill, but I mean, I had some Jotun mixed up, and again, like I've said countless times before, it's really expensive stuff, so if I've got some left over, I'm just chucking it somewhere at the car, and this bit, you can probably, I'm not going to because I don't want to dent it, but you can probably twat that with a hammer and it ain't coming off. So I should do the same with the wheel arches. I'm going to properly ladle stone chip into here because this really takes a beating, and at the back end, it's slightly less of an issue this side because you've got the reserve tank that tends to take most of the shite, and it doesn't get to the back of the car. But the other side, again, ladle it on, and then when that's gone off, joking it again. I've got brand new bump stops somewhere. I've got the stops to go back in here. I think they're on the other side of the ramp. So yeah, so it's God, it's been a long time, far too long. I'm still waiting for some parts to arrive that I ordered ages ago, which is really annoying because other parts I ordered turned up the next day. That's life. I'd quite like to get most of the exhaust rehung, because I'm not far off starting the thing up. Again, it's been sat here for a really long time not running, so I'm going to turn the engine over with a socket by hand initially, just to make sure it doesn't have any stuck valves or whatnot. I'm sure it'll be fine, but just in case, I'll give it a couple of rotations before trying to start it, after I've done something with that hose on the fuel pump. And then I can't put the back box on it, obviously, because this is in the way, but I'm not far off being able to refit the rear arms. So once they're on, I can start the car certainly with the exhaust as far as the centre box. But it'll be a bit loud, but that's fine. I can live with that. I don't really want to run it straight out the manifold. That's really loud. Just to make sure that nothing's leaking. And if I don't have any hydraulic leaks, I mean, it's all new seals, all new pipes, all new unions, fittings, and all the rest of it. So it should be okay, but you never know. So yeah, I'd quite like to get the thing started, make sure there's no leaks on it. Once it's started and it's built some hydraulic pressure, obviously I can get it off this bloody jack, which would be nice because it's been sat on it forever. And then I can get all this wood out the way, clean up the rest of the boot floor and the back end of the chassis legs, give them a lick of paint or a bit of stone chip, and then get the reserve tank in and all that crap built up once all this is painted. There is currently no fuel in it whatsoever, but I can add petrol to the main tank, so that's not really an issue at the minute. And that is about it. It does. I mean, the bumper's got to come off again. I'll put the bumper on for reasons of making sure things lined up and stuff. Boring shit, whatever. But I'm happy with how it fits. I think I've mentioned that in a previous video, but again, I'm old and I can't remember. But anyway, it's not perfect, but better. Don't worry too much about how this fits, because this is, it's not actually fitted. It's just sitting there. So anyway, I should go and make a boot.